Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Work at Home Rockstar podcast. Excited for today's episode. I am talking to an award-winning author from LinkedVantage.com. And what he does is he helps people to optimize their LinkedIn profile, lots of different things, headshots and background images. And he helps you use AI for keywords and just to help you get found on LinkedIn. So I'm excited for today's episode. We're talking to Al Kushner. Hey, Al, you ready to rock?
Absolutely, Tim. Looking forward to it.
Beautiful. So we always start off here in a good note. So tell me a story of success that we can be inspired by.
Story of success. Well, I would say my latest book out that I released, it's called The AI LinkedIn Advantage. And it really kind of, I would say it's a breakthrough book because it's the only one that actually combines both LinkedIn and AI together to help people optimize, their performance on their platform. So I think it's great, and I'm very excited about sharing my knowledge.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I agree. I've had a couple other people on this podcast that have talked about LinkedIn, and no one has mentioned AI. So that's really cool that that's the space that you're in. I'm excited to hear more about that too. Before we do though, there there are also things that don't go as planned. So we like to talk about the good notes and the bad notes that get hit. And I'm wondering, can you share with us something that didn't go as planned on your journey that we can be aware of?
Well, as with anything, I think if you want to be successful on, let's say, LinkedIn, you got to make mistakes, and that's what you do. And if you don't make mistakes, you're not going to grow. And I've had tons of these mistakes. I've been on LinkedIn for the past 20 years, so I've seen the growth of the platform. And I think what it really made a difference is that when AI was introduced like 3 or 4 years ago, particularly ChatGPT, was really kind of a way that really changed the game of how to create content, which is really something on LinkedIn is king. And if you don't have quality content, you're not going to get people interested in following you. You're not going to make quality connections. And that's something that really made a difference for me. And I would say up until that time, my presence there was really very limited because I didn't have a lot of time to, create content or have editors and proofreaders to really help in making it flawless and seamless. And now I do. So I'm really grateful for that.
Hmm. Yeah, I hear you. And I mean, one of the other things too is there's so many different platforms out there, and you've got to create content. And some of the platforms are different than others, so the content you create for one platform might not work in another platform, right? Is that the case? Or
Yeah, exactly. And it depends on the audience. In LinkedIn's case, you have dealing with a lot of professionals, people educated, people who are there to really like business to business in a sense. So it's a
yeah,
certain way of, creating content that resonates well with them compared to other platforms where maybe more of a casual type of content to be displayed. So yeah, there's differences I noticed.
yeah, me too. Yeah, I think like some platforms you want to be a little bit more like funny, right? And some platforms you want to be a little bit more serious, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So every platform has its pluses and minuses. So, but if I would think if you want to connect with business owners, entrepreneurs, or looking for a new type of work, LinkedIn is definitely the place to be.
Mhm. Yeah, totally. So let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, first topic that I usually talk about is about fans here. So I'm wondering, the audience is out there, right? I mean, we're looking at LinkedIn. There's tons of people on LinkedIn. The audience is there, but how do you get them to like you?
Well, very simple. You have to give value to whoever you're connecting with. And the first thing you don't want to do is pitch slap them, as soon as you connect with someone. And that's pretty much common. And that's way to really turn off people for the most part. So if you make a connection, and hopefully that could be a second connection like you knew from someone else, and that makes it much easier. But it's always about trying to add value to whoever you're connecting with and really get to know the person as a person and not as a sales or a dollar sign. And that's really going to make a difference in your approach and your being accepted.
And when you say add value to them, like, are you talking about it like individually, like through just messaging them or through your public posts?
Well, I mean, certainly with the public posts, like articles that are creating content, I create newsletters for certain, let's say I have newsletters for 5 different type of targets. I'm working with accountants, I'm working with financial planners, I'm working with attorneys, and each newsletter is designated for them, touching on their pain points. So when they look forward to the newsletter, they're going to read something that really is a pain point for them. So when I help resolve an issue that's commonly affecting that particular group. So that's really what you want to do is give value.
Okay. Yeah, and that's kind of cool the way you're thinking about that because now when you fix or resolve a problem with one client, that can actually be a sales tool for a whole bunch of other clients, right?
Yeah, it's like a case study. You share your information, you talk about a problem that's commonly with that industry, and so show how you resolved it. And that's really about them learning, and people like that fact. They can learn something from others' mistakes.
Do you think that like I think that one of the struggles, well, I mean, you even had that same struggle is kind of coming up with content all the time. Like you've got to keep kind of keep be very consistent with it. I'm wondering, does the content, can you reuse content that you've already used before over and over again?
Well, I would say if the content was became viral, for example, which could be pretty rare, there's no reason why you can't do a spin-off on that particular topic or expand upon that and reuse it. Certainly, if it was very popular, I'm sure it would resonate well with people. And I've had that situation, which was really good. So you have to monitor it to see which one works and which one is trial and error, as with anything.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I mean, sometimes you might think that it's going to be really good content and it doesn't go anywhere, and other times, something that you just kind of threw in there ends up going really well, right?
Yeah, it's really strange how the algorithm works, but that's how it is. But that's great. As long as you're consistent with the content, that's the key thing, and always do it every week. You'll find people will follow you and look forward to what you have to say.
Yeah, cool. So let's talk a little bit about the instruments. Now, I'm wondering, you're probably going to talk about AI, but is there any other instruments that you use, any other tools that you use for success in your business?
Well, certainly there are graphic tools available like Canva, which I think is really good for creating book covers and things for videos like I don't know, artwork for that. So there are other things besides content text itself, but artwork is definitely a vital, I would think, to one
Yeah.
success on the platform.
Agree. So when it comes to AI, I mean, I think now most of the people that I talk to, especially on this podcast, are sort of like at the point where they're embracing it and going, okay, yeah, this isn't gonna go away. But there are some people that are still afraid of it, or at least afraid to use it. I'm wondering, can you like tell us like what is it? What does it do for us, and how can we use it properly?
Well, I guess an analogy would be is when the 100 years ago. We're watching The Gilded Age recently. I'm not sure if you watch that program, but it showcases, when they introduced electricity, the light bulb, and everybody's using candles and such. And a lot of people think, oh, well, candles, are inexpensive and it works. Well, guess
Yeah,
what? That's what people are doing when they're not embracing AI technology. They'll just say they'll go back to their own ways and means, and that's it. The problem is they're going to get left behind because those who are using electricity are really going to be on the forefront, are going to be the cutting edge, and the competition is using it if you're not. So you really need to step up your game, and there's no reason why not to embrace it. I think it's as with anything, you can dip your toes into it. There are a lot of great programs out there like ChatGPT, for example, that really gives you an opportunity to try out AI and see how it can help make a difference in your running content or any other solutions. I mean, it's really
yeah.
amazing.
That's a good analogy. And now I think that another thing too is that because I've been using AI for quite a while now, and uh, you know, even though now it's gotten quite a bit better, uh, but it's still there is a bit of a learning curve. Like you still have to kind of learn how to use this tool properly. And I think maybe that might be one of the drawbacks is that people will try to use it. It won't give them what they want, and then sort of abandon it. And like I'm wondering, do you like have you taken courses? Like how do you learn how to get better at using AI?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of videos on YouTube, for example, that you can research on and learn from that. There are courses that are available. Books, of course, are amazing, and podcasts, that you can learn from. So no, there's no shortage of information out there to learn it. It's just a matter of your deciding you want to do that. And most people are procrastinating because they don't have the time to do it, don't have the energy. And it's about, investing in yourself. And you should take of the money you're making, 5% of that to invest in yourself. And whether it's attending a course or going to a conference on AI, there's no reason not to do it because it's only going to make you better at what you do. So that's really the way to do it.
I agree. And what about you? Like, do you participate in masterminds, any type of like, do you hire coaches yourself?
Oh, actually, I do one step better. I have AI as my coach. I created an AI agent that works as a coach because normally a coach can run you thousands of dollars a month, and I can get the same results with a coach as long as I program it the way I'm wanted to think, then I can get the results I'm looking for. And I'm amazed and shocked on how impressive the results are. And you can have a conversation with the AI and tell them, hey, what should I do today? And they will tell you, well, and you can create AI based on certain characteristics. You can make one based on Warren Buffett or Gary Vaynerchuk or and other people that you admire, and you could take their information and put it into AI to create a personality that will reflect when you talk to them. They'll sound like, or display like the person you want to connect with, which is incredible. So yeah, that's how I do it.
That's awesome. That's such a great idea that I haven't thought of yet. That's
And
awesome.
here's also a new thing too, not just one person. Imagine you can have an advisory board, okay,
Yeah.
made up of members of people you respect in the industry. Now, who are your favorite people that you respect in your industry, would you say?
I mean, you did mention Gary Vaynerchuk. I love watching his stuff. He's fantastic. I've just actually started looking into guys like Grant Cardone. He seems to be doing some cool stuff right now with his 10x stages. Tony Robbins is I've taken a few of his courses in the past. Um, and that's a good start.
Imagine, all right, well, imagine these three guys on your board of advisors, okay, as AI bots, okay, and they
Yeah.
have all the information of these guys over the years stored in. And just imagine you can just ask a question, and they will come back to you as Gary Vaynerchuk or the other guys you mentioned about how to make strategies in your business, direction you want to
Wow.
take. That's the incredible way that AI is developing that you can do this without paying top dollar, to get advice from these individuals. So it's incredible.
That's really bright. I actually I did actually create a GPT or like a personality in my area for my accountant. So I've got an accountant now that he handles all my books or it handles all my books and stuff like that. But I never got to the point that's actually a really bright idea to create, a board or a coach through AI as well. Because I mean, you do sort of ask AI about that stuff, but the more you train it, the more you teach it, the better it gets. So you could really kind of hone that right in. And I love using the personality of a coach like that because then, you know, part of the reasons why, I know we talk about this quite often on this podcast where, you hire a coach for different reasons. Sometimes you might hire them for accountability, sometimes you might hire them for strategies. Uh, you know, but the accountability part is a huge one because you're not going to get that from the cheerleaders in your life. You need somebody that's going to actually give it to you straight and say, "Hey, listen, I think you're actually not doing what you should be doing right now." That's important, right?
Oh, it's essential. So for me, I think it's amazing how the technology has grown, particularly with Google platform, where they have Notebook LM, where you can actually put information, let's say Tony Robbins, for example, and take all of his books and put it all into the thing to study it. Okay, and it'll come out sounding exactly like the individual. So you have a question, how did he handle it? And guess what? You're getting that information that would maybe take you hours, days, months to read, available
Wow.
in seconds. I mean, how cool is that?
Wow. Wow. And I think probably some of that information would already be there, wouldn't it? You wouldn't even have to enter it in. Wouldn't the GPTs already know it?
Well, no, you got to give the information what you're requesting. So let's say he's got, I don't know, 13 books, okay? You want to take all that information and put it into a Notebook LM and then create an AI bot based on that information.
Yeah.
And you ask a question, it'll come back with an answer based on all the information that's been told over the years. So it's incredible.
Well, and I'm a big reader too. So, I mean, this, there's quite a few books that I have not read yet. And I imagine this is a good way to just grab those books that I haven't read yet, upload them up there, and then anytime I'm asking a question, it'll actually just draw from that. It can read much faster than I can, that's for sure.
Yeah, and advise you, and in it's amazing. And then not just use that influence, but others as well that you respect. Put all the information; they can be part of your team, and then you have, and then have the team also come up with solutions based on their experience. I mean, it's incredible how that works in your favor.
Ah, wow, wow. This is one of the best ideas I've heard on the show, I will say. It's amazing. Great
Yeah,
job. That's good. So
thanks.
now it is time for your guest solo. So I want to hear more about your business. I want to hear about what's exciting for you right now.
Well, I would say that, well, of course, my book launched in June, and that's exciting. And going a lot of podcasts and also organizations that are reaching out for speaking opportunities. So I think it's incredible, and I can reach a lot of people. And I do really, it's just amazing how the content on not just LinkedIn but other platforms, you can reach so much more people. It's tremendous. And I'm also creating my own podcast too, so that's pretty exciting. And that hopefully will launch in September. So I think it's just a great time to be in business, to be self-employed, because you have all these resources available that I never had years ago. I mean, AI didn't exist 20 years ago. Think about it. And now it's like, I wish I was 20 years younger and I could take advantage of everything that's available. So, but I'm glad to be in where I'm right now. Exciting times to share my information and get the word out about technology that's really changing people's lives.
Yeah. Well, tell me about your book.
Well, it's called the AI LinkedIn Advantage, and it really talks about how to use AI and LinkedIn to grow your business. And I refer to certain types of software that's really popular that you can use to enhance your profile, to optimize it, and also develop a strategy for outreach. So if you want to connect with people, who your target audience is. If you want to connect with referral partners like accountants or attorneys, you know, it'll create content that'll resonate well with them. You can create an ebook, you can create video scripts that could be influential. I would say groups also are really popular on LinkedIn. Are you part of any groups on LinkedIn at all, or?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, guess what? You should look into getting groups and get at least 20 or 30 groups to be part of, because that also is going to help in your outreach. Because if you're connecting with people, a lot of times they may accept you because you're part of a group. And what's great about it is that once you're in the group, you can actually connect with those people and send direct messages to them. And some groups are so large. I mean, they got over hundreds, if not over a million followers in the group or members. So it's a really great way to expand your network that people seem to ignore. But groups are really a great way to connect.
Wow. Yeah, most of my outreach happens on Facebook. So I'm part of Facebook groups and I do all those things there. So I imagine all those same sort of concepts are all available on LinkedIn too, right?
Yeah, yeah, and a different type of group again is different than on Facebook. And I think also the reach is much greater because a lot of times Facebook is pay to play for the most part. So if you
Mm.
want to go and get your message out there, you got to boost it, where it's not necessarily on LinkedIn the case. So that could be also getting greater outreach, which is also important. And newsletters also are very important too on LinkedIn because you can create a newsletter, and when it gets sent out to the people who are following it, not only do they get notified on LinkedIn itself, but also outside of LinkedIn, like in their inboxes. And a lot of times it won't go to spam filters, it goes straight directly to their inbox because LinkedIn has such a high authority that it just bypasses. It's almost like a red carpet. Come on in. The spam filters don't even say, that's not spam. It's from LinkedIn. So it must be good. And guess what? It gets better reach. So I definitely recommend starting a newsletter if you haven't done that yet.
Yeah, LinkedIn probably does its own sort of content moderation as well too, right?
Yeah, it's really incredible how the platform, the algorithm works in your favor, and they encourage that for people to do that. Particularly videos, they do encourage that a lot as well. I would say that if you post a video on LinkedIn, you'll probably get a lot more reach than you did if you did a text post. And a lot of
Okay.
people are really starting to learn about that as making a difference.
So now tell me about this podcast that you are creating.
Well, I'm working on one that will focus in on AI and branding to become a thought leader and how to use the information with AI to create a persona, you might say, that will resonate well with your target audience. So I'll probably have people who are guests in the industry and leaders and people who are thought leaders and branding experts to really share their knowledge with my audience. So hopefully that will transpire next quarter.
Awesome. Good. So, where do we get your book?
Oh, easy. Amazon, one place. Barnes and Noble, any retailers online you could find available. It's also in an audiobook form, available on Spotify, and I believe Audible hopefully should have it. So that's another option for people to choose. You can also go to my website, linkedvantage.com, where I do offer a free kind of newsletter or ebook that helps you optimize your profile. It's kind of a checklist that you can kind of look at to see whether or not you are doing the exact way of making your profile stand out. And I think a lot of listeners would love to get that access available. And you can also follow me on LinkedIn too. You can have access to me directly. Look forward to connecting with anyone on LinkedIn. Just don't pitch slap me. That's most important.
It drives me so crazy when that happens to me. I just add somebody and they immediately send me this big old pitch, right? And but that's the thing is that nowadays with AI, the I think the disadvantage is that you do get a lot more of that. I mean, because I imagine that way back when, someone would have to spend the time to write that pitch. Now, they're probably just throwing it into AI and it's generating them a big paragraph and they're dumping it into the messages, right?
Yeah, but it's still the same old thing. It's just going to really turn away people. So whether it's AI generated or written on your own, that's the wrong way to approach anyone who we're making a connection with. Give something of value to whoever you're connecting with. When I connect with someone, I give them a copy of my profile checklist. Okay, and what's great about it is that I don't require them to give me my email or give them the email to get it. Take it, do what you want with it, which is great. You want to make it real easy and non-threatening, and that's it. And if they're interested, they'll reach out to you. And I've got plenty of business, so I don't worry about that.
So when someone pitch slaps you, what do you write back? What do you do?
I don't write black. I just simply block them and I delete them, and that's it. I mean, it's just a process that I do. And then for me, that really works very effectively. And for the most part, and if I want to, take the time, I may pitch slap them back. Tell them that your pitch slap sucks. But I help you to make a better one.
That's what I was wondering if you would do. Hey,
Yeah,
this is
just
a
for
terrible
kicks.
pitch.
Yeah,
But if you hire me, I'll help you fix this.
yeah. Why not?
It's a great idea. Cool. Okay, so now I've got one more question before we wrap up here. This might be the hardest one. Who's your favorite rock star?
Oh, living or dead?
Either one.
Oh, okay. So many, I don't know where to
I
begin.
know.
I mean, I was watching a documentary on Billy Joel recently,
Mm,
so it's really incredible how the life he lived. So that something is pretty much what I've been kind of focusing on and listening to songs and everything. So he's been incredible, rock star, I would say. And he's from New York, so where I'm originally from as well. So I kind of partial to that. I would say definitely he's one of my favorites, I would say.
yeah, yeah, he's incredible. I love his stuff. And his I think he's coming up to the end. Hasn't he been playing at Madison Square Gardens for a long time? Is that almost ending now, is it? Or
It's hard to say. He may be continuing because obviously it's still selling out. I mean, regardless, and he's been also to other areas. He's in Florida, I know, recently visit. But I guess it's just a matter of supply and demand. He's really finding a new renaissance, I would say, and a lot of younger generations are tuning in to him before never because of his
yeah. Because I
popularity.
heard, because I heard, and I'm not sure if this is accurate or not, that that was his initial deal was okay, I'll do it, but I'll only play until it stops selling out, and it's
Yeah,
still selling out.
yeah, it is still in demand.
It's
So
like,
yeah, as with anything. So why not? I mean, think about it. I mean, you're doing things you love, and it's not really taking much of your time. And you're making money. Why not? If you love what you're doing, you'll do it until you're dead. I guess so. I mean, look at Ozzy Osbourne. And he gave a recent concert a week before he passed away, but he was still enjoying his, notoriety, his fame because of the many people that love his work. So
Hmm.
may he
Yep,
rest
that's
in peace.
amazing. Yeah, rest in peace. Absolutely. Awesome. So before we wrap up though, again, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Well, go to my website, linkedvantage.com. You can also check out my book on Amazon or Spotify. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Follow me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to, connect with people. And yeah, those are just some of the ways that you can reach out to me.
Awesome. Thank you, Al, for rocking out with me today. This has been awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity, Tim. Have a good one.
Cool. And to the listeners, make sure you go to workathomerockstar.com for more information, and we'll see you next time on the Work at Home Rockstar podcast.